everybody, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your presence. We are Tran&Co, and this is our investment offering memorandum. So my name is Addison Starnes. I have Nelson Tran, Reese Gavitas, and Sam Townsend. So here's our table of contents, some of the things that we'll be talking about today. We'll have a property overview, SWOT analysis, market interest, parking, comparable properties, different scenarios and financials, and then at the end will be our recommendation followed by questions. Here's our executive summary. The purpose of this investment memorandum is to detail a mixed-use commercial investment opportunity to prospective equity partners for investment in a limited liability company to be created for the purpose of an acquisition and future development of a 47,957 square foot land parcel located at 211 West Boyd Street here in Norman, Oklahoma. Existing improvements include a convenience store and a commercial strip mall. So down on the left, you can see under investment property, this will be a 5-year analysis with about $19.38 million in development, a net sales price of $22.8 million with an exit cap rate of 6.5%. We'll have a base case and an optimal case. Our base case will have an IRR of 9.9 and an NPV of negative 62,000. So not as great, but our optimal case shows more upside. And that case has a 20.4% IRR, followed by a $4 million, almost $5 million NPV. Cash on cash return will be 7.4%. And this property also features a parking garage and is a multi-use commercial complex zone. So here's a little bit about the property. You can see on the left picture of the rendering. So located again, like I said in the executive summary, 211 West Boyd. So it's information. 329 parking spaces in the garage, and once again, exit cap rate at 6.5. So located at Campus Corner, this is a very prime area of real estate. Lots of things happening, lots of bars, places that people will go, retail. It's a great place to go with your friends, so lots of foot traffic, very highly populated area. And then the potential for Campus Corner overall, we see the town transitioning to a more highly attracted area. The move to the SEC will bring in a lot more students and people to the town. And as you can see, Texas A&M student population increased greatly from 2012 to 2021 when they moved to the SEC. So we could see similar growth here in Norman and at OU. Now I'll pass it off to Nelson for the SWOT.
Thanks, Addison. So today we'll be talking about the SWOT and the marginal analysis. So for a SWOT is a analysis indicating a strength, weaknesses, and opportunities. Let's go down the list here. Some strengths right here has some potential to be the largest asset on Campus Corner. With this investment, it will easily upbring the whole vibe of Campus Corner, and it will be the most foot traffic area. It will also create attention in the target audience and visitors. We want young professionals along with college students in that area. It's easy to switch up real estate business models to adjust. You'll see in some scenarios that we choose, there's some office and some retail, also some residential. I totally forgot there's a thing right here. Let's move on to some weaknesses. The IRR will not be profitable if rents do not increase. We'll need to update the aesthetic Campus Corner to be able to bring in more foot traffic and attention. Norman infrastructure may not be able to handle the influx of students and visitors. That is also a weakness that we do see, possibility. For some opportunities, the university transition to the Southeastern Conference, I won't get too much into it because we all know that will change OU for sure. New influx of visitors for athletics, resource for new guests at the Noun and Campus Corner. The Noun and Campus Corner would benefit off this property because it will bring in more attention to the area itself. Some threats: residential guests may be unsatisfied with the multi-use approach. Let's say, for example, we have a rooftop bar on top. Residential guests may not appreciate that and would not pay the rent that we're asking. Also, overestimation growth for Norman, Oklahoma. We'll go next for risk mitigation. For risk mitigation, some potential risks that we foresee in the possible future: market rents do not increase. This likelihood is low, as you can see, but we just have to must ensure that the tenants that we choose that are screened and possible lessees has a plan of action for a strong marketing presence. Overestimation of growth is low to medium. We will use a conservative estimation to calculate possible returns. retail traction is high, and high construction, those likelihoods are high. We just have to find different strategies for both of them. And I'll pass it on to Reese for some market interest.
Thanks, Nelson. And so here I'm going to talk about the market interest, specifically in the Norman, Oklahoma area, and a little bit about Oklahoma City, which is our nearest neighboring largest city. And so like I said, this is on the very outskirts of the Norman, Oklahoma campus, and right in the center of campus life for these students. So a big majority of our target market is going to be college students at the University of Oklahoma and young professionals that have graduated and are starting their careers in Oklahoma City or even the surrounding areas in Norman. And another big target market we're going to be focusing on is the traveling college football fans that we know. Within our moves to the SEC, there are quite a bit. And here is some population and demographic info for Norman and the OKC area. We have a Norman estimated population for 2022 of about 127,000. And we also have average household incomes within a 1 mile radius of this property of about $47,000. Annual growth rates for the surrounding areas in Norman and OKC is about 1%. And I'll move on to a survey we conducted where we asked one of our largest demographic audiences, the students at the University of Oklahoma. We got about 112 respondents responding to questions such as how often they go to Campus Corner, of which we got a majority of them that said they frequented or very frequently went to Campus Corner. However, there was a big disparity in the amount of them that went to Campus Corner and shopped in the retail stores. So from this, we concluded and asked further what they would like to see in Campus Corner, and the idea is that the majority of these people would rather see less retail and more bar or club life or even housing. And as for tenants, we're thinking of possible tenant needs. The biggest need would be a grocery store, as there's only, in the surrounding area, there's only one Walmart grocery store that's a couple miles down the road, and this could fill a huge need for students in the area that would always be able to shop there. Another potential need we have would be a partnership with OU, something like the OU Safe Ride office, which I know only has parking at the Catlett Center about a mile down the street from Campus Corner. And it can fill a much bigger need and have a much better response there on Campus Corner. Wants-wise, we would like rooftop entertainment and high revenue retail that would drive people to come in and continue shopping and visiting the other locations on Campus Corner. And I'm going to pass it off to Sam for some comparable properties.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sam. I'll be doing some comparable properties. So the first comparable market we found was the University of Arkansas. Compared to the University of Oklahoma, it has pretty much the same amount of students. Actually, Norman has more residents than Fayetteville. The median age is very similar at 27 years old. Obviously, it's a little bit younger than the national average because it's in college towns. The household income is also very similar, with Norman coming in just a little bit higher at $6,000 more. And then the market cap rate is 6% compared to 6.5. The first comparable property we found is actually at the University of Arkansas, right off of Dixon Street, which is very similar to Campus Corner. It's their bar area. Market rates for them are around $15 to $20 for retail, $11 to $21 for residential, and $15 to $24 for office rate. And as you can see here, this building is sitting right at the top end of the market rate. The best money maker for them is going to be the residential at about $21, which $20 to $21, which sits right at the top of the market in Fayetteville. The next comparable property we found is a little bit newer. It's 127,000 square feet. They have the same market rates because obviously they're in the same market. But as you can see here, they're making more money because it's a lot newer. Residential is sitting at about 22 to 24, which is actually outperforming the market by about $3 per square foot per year. Also, the office rates and the retail rates are above the market rates, which is a really good sign because these big multi-use properties are exactly like what is going to be built on Campus Corner. Next, we have some scenarios and financials for the project. The first scenario we came up with was our original scenario, taking into account all of our needs, what we got in the survey as wants, and for that we came up with the first floor retail space, and that space is going to be kind of like the grocery store. We thought of a Lululemon, which is one of the highest per square foot retail spaces in the world. We also thought of a workout space because there's not a whole lot of like specialized workout places on Campus Corner. And then on the second floor is going to be office space. And then the third through fifth is going to be high residential, which the comparable we found was Callaway at $26 per square foot per year. I think personally we could get above that at around 28, 29 because it's going to be so new, so close to everything. Really just a good area for it. And then on the sixth floor, which is going to be the rooftop, we have a food court area and a bar at $25 per square foot. And then the construction cost around $300 per square foot with a $5 million parking garage, which comes out to approximately $19 million. And then the parking rate is going to be $2 an hour because the parking was very important. So this is our financials for this original scenario we came up with. We actually got an IRR of about 9.9% with a holding period of 5 years. Net operating income is coming in positive at $1.4 million, which is really good. So that's it. Next I'll be passing to Nelson.
Thanks, Sam, for the delightful introduction to the scenarios. So for the next scenario, we'll be talking about the optimal scenario. This is a scenario where we increase market rents since this will bring in more attraction to our target markets. So we increase rent by $1 to $3 per square foot per year over the current market average. That's just all around for retail, office, and residential. Actually, this scenario doesn't have offices. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Possible lower construction costs to $250 per square foot plus a $5 million parking garage. I know this is a stretch, but this is optimally what we can do given if we lock in construction prices now or wait until everything stabilizes. That'll bring in the total cost of $16.9 million for total development cost. Residential condominiums from second to fifth floor, as from the first original scenario. The second floor is office space. We believe that office space is not profitable in Norman, Oklahoma due to the throughout 16% vacancy rate throughout Norman for Class A, B, and C. For the residential, since to compensate that high loss in cost, we compensate with $28 per square foot per year. It's competitive to Callaway, and Callaway is currently at $26 per square foot. We feel like we can increase these market rents due to the location plus the popularity that it's going to have. Parking rate increased to $2 an hour at 60% yearly occupancy. My colleague Addison will talk about that in a little bit. So hop in the financials for the optimal scenario. You see our gross NOI, our vacancy rate is 96% instead of the other one at 90%. Since we deleted the office space, that occupancy rate went up by about 6%. And you can see our NOI is at 1.74 million. That brings our cash on cash to around 7.4%, which is pretty profitable. And our total IRR is at 15.77%. Now I'll pass it to Addison Starnes for the parking garage.
Thank you, Nelson. All right, so I'll be discussing the parking garage and some of the ways that we foresee revenue being driven by that. So overall, there are 329 parking spots, and given this is based off our optimal case scenario, so there's more residential in this scenario. So we've allocated 193 spots as daily use public parking spots. Well, not public, but that people can pay for. So of those 193, we charge them $2 an hour at 8 hours a day. The potential yearly revenue there is just over $1 million at 100% capacity every single day of the year. We also forecast that there are about 10 special events in Norman per year where we can charge those 193 spots a $40 daily rate. And so with those 10 events, that brings in an additional nearly $80,000 of potential revenue on that special event parking. So down at the bottom, you can see the breakdown between tenant spots and customer spots we've allocated for our retail tenants and our tenants that live in the building, charging them a $35 monthly rate for them to park there as well. On this next slide, I have a breakdown of the yearly revenue potential at a given capacity plus the yearly event revenue. So on this breakdown, the yearly event revenue is locked in at 100%. We think that those 10 events with the daily rate parking is very likely and is almost a given. So we have that revenue number locked in. But what we have here in the table is the percentages of different capacities. Every parking spot will not be full for 8 hours a day, 365 days a year. We think the most likely breakdown is at around the 50 to 60% capacity area. So on the table you can see that's around $684,000 in parking revenue alone, and that is including the $150,000 yearly parking garage expense. So we think around 60% is an accurate estimation of what that revenue could be. Additional revenue opportunities could be advertisements, maybe a partnership with OU if they wanted to sell student passes, electric vehicle charging, and things like that could also be additional revenue drivers for the parking garage. So to wrap it up, our recommendations, based on our research as a whole, we believe that we should prioritize residential housing and high volume tenants, maximize the parking usage, and do our best to find cost-effective construction. We think that office space is not the way to go in Norman. They're overpopulated. Our residential space brings in more revenue, and we should capitalize on that by prioritizing that space in the building. Questions? Thank you so much